hadn't been anybody in the Africa regional coordinator position full-time for over a decade when we accepted this position. And so there was quite a void and quite a vacuum for what the role meant and what the role needed. Since we accepted the role, it's really been a learning experience for us. To know what our missionaries need, to know what our national leaders mean, to know what it means to connect with churches outside of Africa, to come in partnership with what God is doing in Africa. And so it's really been a big learning curve for us. What we've come to discover so far is that really we see our role as facilitating healthy spaces so that the Church of God in Africa can thrive. What that means is that each missionary, each national leader, each country has different needs. They have different obstacles. They have different strengths. And what we see our role is connecting the strengths with the needs in other countries. It's helping to remove barriers if there are difficulties that a national leader or a missionary is facing. So that each one can function at a really high level and function in a really healthy space. So we see our role as coming alongside our missionaries, coming alongside our national leaders in Africa, and doing all that we can so that they can do what they do best.
On any given day, we may be taking the role of a pastor for our missionaries or for the national leaders with whom we work. We may be administrators talking about policy or writing policy or pursuing administrative responsibilities. Or we may be strategizing for the possibility of future ministry. Or we may even find ourselves on the front line digging a ditch or working with people locally in a village. So the role of regional coordinator is incredibly varied, but we really feel like it's that idea of helping to facilitate those healthy spaces, that healthy environment where the Church of God in Africa can really thrive. And anything that we can do to try to create that space or to facilitate that space is where we want to be, is what we want to be doing as regional coordinators, so that the Church of God really can grow, so that the Church of God can be healthy, so that our missionaries can be healthy, and so that we can be fulfilled in pursuing the things that God has called us to do.
We've recently taken an interest in beekeeping, and we've started keeping bees at our house in Tanzania. And we found really that our role as regional coordinators is a lot like the role of a beekeeper. That the beekeeper isn't the one going out to collect the pollen or the nectar or to lay the eggs or to raise the baby bees, but the role of the beekeeper is to be in close proximity, to know the bees, to identify the pests that are there and that might be in the hive, and to do what they can to remove the pests, and just do whatever the beekeeper can to create a healthy space for the bees to be able to do what they do. And so we found that our role as regional coordinators is much like that of a beekeeper, that we need to be in close proximity to our missionaries and our national leaders. We need to be able to identify what are the challenges that our missionaries and our national leaders are facing, and do what we can to remove those barriers, and just facilitate this healthy space so that our missionaries and our national leaders can do what God has created them to do.